LeafFilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's LeafFilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. LeafFilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This has been a test of the emergency alert system.
Heads up, pros. Now's your chance to unlock deeper savings. The Home Depot's new Pro Extra Preferred pricing can help you save thousands on the products your business uses the most. But the current benefit ends November 15th. Don't miss out. Registration for the new program is free and easy. Just bring your tax ID or business or contractor's license to the Pro Desk. Register now to lock in the best wholesale prices before it's too late.
A lot of personal injury lawyers make claims about how good they are. But how do you know who's the best? Who will fight to get you the money you deserve? At Berg Simpson, we don't rely on simple claims like other firms. We have 27 best lawyers in America, 17 super lawyers, and we're one of the National Trial Lawyers' top 25 most influential law firms. Compare us to other firms, then call Berg Simpson.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Thinking about buying a home in Colorado? You're not the only one, and now might be your best shot. We're officially in a buyer's market, which means you've got the upper hand. More homes are on the market, competition is down, and serious deals are out there just waiting to be found. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to upgrade or downsize, now's the time to get pre-approved. And American Financing can make that happen in 24 hours or less. And here's the kicker. When you work with both American Financing and their partner American Home Agents, you can receive a credit on closing costs of up to 1% or a max of $10,000 on your home loan. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, it's time to step in, and American Financing is the place to start. Don't let the 20% down myth stop you. You could buy a home with as little as 3% down, and with down payment assistance programs available, getting into a home might be easier than you think. Pick up the phone, call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Sunday is Family Fun Day with Denver Women's Soccer. DU will host South Dakota on October 26th for a Summit League showdown. Postseason is just around the corner. Every second, every save, and every cheer counts.
Could come right here. Chidiac chips it in. Headed toward goal, and Denver strikes.
Cheer on DU Women's Soccer October 26th. Grab a ticket online now.
International Hot Rod Association and Durana Hybrid, where the roar of the engine meets the torque of the wrench. Building champions on the track and in the trades. Get your tickets at IHRA.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver.
You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight, taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
Little Steve Miller Band, all right. You familiar with the Steve Miller Band, Dante?
I'm familiar with the song.
Steve Miller, little anecdote here. is my exact opposite, if you want to know that. It's my exact opposite.
Don't tell me why. Yeah, I'm going to try to think of why.
You're not going to get this one. You're not going to get this one.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get it.
I was born in Wisconsin and grew up in Texas. Steve Miller was born in Texas and went to school in Wisconsin, and he has tremendous amounts of musical talent, and I have none. So there we go. Exact
the musical
opposites.
talent was on the top of my list, but I had no other thing beyond that.
My musical talent is listening, and that's the extent of it. So Dante Gomez behind the glass, Chad Andrus here with you tonight for the next hour on Denver Sports Tonight. Thanks to Zach and Will for letting me hang out for a couple minutes with those guys. And Dante, I'm counting on you. This is my maiden voyage on Denver Sports Tonight. The first go-around. As long as I've been at this station and in this market, the first time I have done this show, and you are here to guide me through it. So I'm counting on you tonight for your tremendous wisdom and input behind the glass.
Well, there's only so much I can do. So
yeah. There's a lot of different ways we can take that, and we will open up the text line. You guys can chime in throughout the show at 303-713-1043, RamosLaw.com text line. There's some stuff going on. NBA has started. Carmelo was just on the screen with the Knicks and the Cavs going back and forth here on night number 2 of NBA action. We'll get into what kicked off last night and the Nuggets tipping off tomorrow night a little bit later on in the program. But Dante, today we have to start with the Denver Broncos and the day everybody talks out at Dove Valley leading up to the Cowboys game this week. And in particular, I think we have to start with the head coach once again, never shy to express his opinion as he did after the game on Sunday, where he took a little bit of a off-road detour to go out of his way and make a comment that could be interpreted several different ways. It was most definitely interpreted by Russell Wilson in a certain way when Sean Payton said after the game that he had talked with the Giants ownership that he was still close with and said that he had hoped they didn't switch to rookie quarterback Jackson Dart until after they had played that game. And Sean came out today and responded to Russell Wilson's response, and this was the most interesting thing. Zach was talking about it with 39 million views or whatever it was so far on the social media post when Russ said, classless but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15-plus years later through the media. Hashtag let's ride is what Wilson said yesterday. And then today, when Sean Payton talked, he had a chance and, of course, was going to be asked about that tweet and an opportunity to respond to it.
Look, in the euphoria, the way that game unfolded, that was strictly about Dart. I mean, and I that was in no way, shape, or form anything that was directed at Russ. So, and I might be able to see how he might perceive that. But coming off that win and watching how he played, yeah, that wasn't any intention at all.
Cue the Ron Burgundy, I don't believe you meme. Nobody believes him when he says that, right? You don't believe him, do you?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's obviously a shot, but I'm okay with him taking a shot at Russ. They worked together for a year. It didn't go well. Sean clearly has a problem with Russell Wilson. I'm good with it. And what he said wasn't wrong either. I'm sure if I'm Sean Payton, I'd much rather face Russell Wilson than Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's given them a little bit of a spark on the Giants. So I was saying they should have started Dart from game 1. I think Russell Wilson's he's done. He's done in the NFL. He cannot be your quarterback and you're gonna win games. It's just not gonna happen. We've seen that the last 3 years of him. So I get it. I'm okay with him taking a shot. I'm okay with Russell Wilson returning the shot as well. I thought the Russell Wilson tweet is the most I've liked Russell Wilson ever. I'm not a Russell Wilson guy. I've long standing have not been a supporter of his or thought he was a very good football player. I think a lot of what he what he does in the media is very performative, and he wants to put on this certain persona. But it's like, dude, you can just be a real person. You don't have to always be this buttoned up guy. Like, no one wants to hang out with that kind of person. I thought the tweet was good. I thought it was good that he stood up for himself. I thought the hashtag Let's Ride at the end was hilarious, because that's honestly kind of taking a shot at himself too. That's how I read that, at least. So yeah, again, Russell Wilson has gained points in the last 48 hours in my book.
There's a lot to this, and I'm not surprised Sean Payton said what he said, and he did go out of his way to directly include that, because nobody asked him about that. He steered the conversation that way to get that jab in, and that's who Sean is. Sean is a bit of an instigator, and there are different types of coaches, some that are very personable with the media and some are very likable, and as we were talking off the air, Dante, a lot of those coaches turn out to be not so successful. Most of the football coaches that have a level of success have what I believe you call an edge to them. And there's different types of that. There's an intensity and an edge, a seriousness to get the job done. But then there's another level of where you go out of your way to provoke people. And you go out of your way to instigate a little bit. And I think that's where Sean Payton falls, is he likes to poke the bear. He likes to stir things up. He likes to challenge people a little bit and puff out his chest and then argue and then show that he's right. And it's the example of the things he said in his actions around Bo Nix when the rest of the NFL believed otherwise in drafting him. It goes back to his long history with the league and the things that Russell Wilson mentioned in his tweet with Bounty and things like that in New Orleans. But Sean is who he is. And he doesn't apologize for it, and he really probably doesn't need to apologize for it. You can believe what you want about it, but it's not going to change. He's been in this league for a long time. He's over 60 years old. He's not going to adjust the way he approaches things and the way he deals with people, whether they're players, whether they're media, or otherwise. So Sean is who he is. What's fascinating about this situation, Dante, is it shows, I think, absolute concrete evidence for the first time that Russ understands it's over. And he does not have to, need to, or want to put up that facade anymore that you're talking about of being fake and the things that Richard Sherman had accused him of as being a teammate and others, and people making fun of him with the high knees on the plane to London and always putting out that toxic positivity that people talk about. This is an indication of Russ, I think, accepting that, you know what, I'm not getting another shot. I don't have to put up this facade of I am the company man. I am the rah-rah team guy all the time. I'm going to fall in line and always be positive and do everything right because, you know what, I'm out. I'm not getting another shot. I'm actually probably surprised they haven't released me from my deal and that I'm the number 2 quarterback week to week as opposed to Jameis Winston. So Sean Payton, by doing that, Russell Wilson's will may have already been broken, but now everybody knows it because it snapped him in a way that over the course of his however many years he's been in the NFL, 15, whatever it is, not that long, but 12, it snapped him in a way that he previously did not show at any of his other stops.
Yeah, we've never seen this version of Russell Wilson, and I like it. Maybe he's leaning into that backup quarterback character. He was the starting, CEO quarterback character for the last 12 years, and finally he's like, you know what, maybe I will be likable. Maybe I will take some shots. So maybe that's what he's doing. But no, you're right. He with this, it is signaling that he's done. He's done playing the character of this, whatever guy he thought he needed to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, he's given up. He's punted on it, and good for him. I think, probably 2 years too late, but I don't know. I guess he was holding on to that dream of winning another Super Bowl, or what was his hashtag when he said win the 6th? Something like that with the Broncos, or maybe that was with the Steelers. Whatever it was terrible. It was corny. It was very Russell Wilson. So good for him for finally being able to be hopefully himself. I don't know what himself is. I don't know if anybody knows what himself means because we haven't seen the real version of him in maybe ever.
Well, this is where it gets interesting now, because if he is accepting his football life is over, at least on the field, and where he goes from here is what version of Russ are we going to get? And is it going to be a version of Russ that is campaigning for a spot on television? Is it going to be a version of Russ that is trying to gain back more influence and more friends by being a little bit more authentic and personable because of the conversations that said, oh, yeah, he was on track to be a surefire Hall of Famer, and then it fell off a cliff, and now it's not looking like he's going in? Is he going to try to mend his relationships in such a way that it impacts the way his legacy is viewed by being a different person? And what's interesting about it is some of the people that have influence over these things, a national voice, and votes on such matters, immediately have jumped to his defense. And the example I'll give you is Michael Wilbon today on Pardon the Interruption.
Sean Payton is a really, really, really fine coach. He's a Chicago guy. I lean toward letting it slide.
Eastern Illinois?
Except Sean Payton behaves too often like a classless bum. That's what he behaves like. And he thinks he's so chesty. He can say stuff, but you can't say something back. Russell Wilson can't come back at him.
He did.
Russell Wilson's got as many Super Bowl rings as Sean Payton.
That's right, one.
And been to one more. So Sean Payton will tell you what he did as an assistant and try to take credit for that. And Sean Payton, what does Sean Payton think this is, like 1948? Like Russell Wilson as a quarterback can't come back at him as a man? Good. I'm glad Russell Wilson did. And they can be equals in that way in terms of status in football. But Sean Payton, who do you think you are? You ain't that good where you can just take shots at people, and you better go in the rope-a-dope. I wish Russell Wilson had gone further.
Michael Wilbon on PTI with Tony Kornheiser today. So that is a national voice immediately jumping to the defense of Russell Wilson, saying, I wish he would have gone further. Adamant about it, Dante. And I will sit here right now and I will ask you, since the point in 2015 when Russell Wilson threw the interception on the goal line that would have beaten the Patriots in the Super Bowl to win back-to-back, since that point, have you heard anyone on the planet defend Russell Wilson in a way that Michael Wilbon just did?
I don't think so. I never thought about it until you just asked, but I don't think so. I mean, people were still high on his football level of play. I know when he got traded to Denver here, everyone was very excited about that, and we're going to win Lombardis, and he's going to have a whole second half of his career here in Seattle. It didn't quite work that way, but in terms of like as a person defending him, I don't think I've heard much of anything good, good PR on his end. So no, I think this is the first time, but I'm with Wilbon on it. I think I'm with Wilbon on it in terms of Russell Wilson's allowed to stand up for himself. I have no problems with that at all, but Sean Payton's also allowed to take the shot. I think it was fair play on both sides. Also, I don't know if this is going to come back around, so I just want to bring it up now. You were asking, what's next for Russell Wilson, if he's going to go into media or whatnot. Over under 2 years until we see the Russell Wilson podcast. And are you surprised we don't already have it?
Under, yeah. There's a lot of ways to go here. I don't think it's just podcast. I think there's a Sunday night football, Monday night football opportunity there. I mean, he's got several companies as well. I think it's Limitless Minds that I think has a base here in Denver that he will be a big part of. I mean, Mega Church is always on the table for Russ. But if he's going to show a little bit more backbone and a little bit more spine, then he becomes much more attractive to be in that media spotlight and to be part of whatever broadcast team if he's in that role, right? He's still a young, good-looking guy, has a celebrity wife, right? They're going to be very interested in putting him on television. It's just what version of Russ are we going to get? And if it is a new version of Russ, the I will tweet what I really think version of Russ, well, is that actually authentic? Or is that just the next play?
That's a fair question as well. Also, we have a great text here from the 1110 on the text line. James Marilat has defended Russell Wilson quite a bit, so I'll throw Marilat as maybe the only guy in Russ's corner the last 5-10 years.
James has still got his jersey, and he has defended him, not to the extent of the way Michael Wilbon just did on a national platform.
No, not like that.
And saying, I wish he would have gone further. So what's fascinating to me about all this is, like, Sean is Sean. Sean's not going to change. He's going to do what he wants. He is going to go out of his way at times to provoke people and provoke reactions and direct conversations in ways that he wants them directed. Like when he talks about, I don't want to hear about the screen calls, or I don't want to hear about tempo, right? He's going to do things and say things that aren't necessary to the conversation, but he's going to make his point. Because that's who Sean is. That's who Sean has always been. And he's going to go out of his way to do that at times, like he did, bringing that point up about Jackson Dart when nobody asked him about it. He knew what the reaction was going to be. So, no, I don't believe him either in his response today. Good for Russ for fighting back a little bit, but I think more than anything else, what this shows me is Russ knows his career as a football player, he is finally accepting it's over. And he doesn't have to put up that facade anymore. That fake personality, that toxic positivity, that rah-rah corporate team guy is out the window. So I'd be fascinated to see what it's like in those quarterback meeting rooms with Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, and Jameis Winston now in New York for that team going forward, or if Russ and Jameis are even invited, or if they just sit back in the corner with headphones on. I'm not sure how that's working. All right, we will move on from Russell Wilson because the Broncos took care of that team, and they did it without playing Russ. They did it with a historic comeback in the fourth quarter to pick up a win, and I've talked to no less than a dozen people, Dante, this week that were at the game and left by the end of the third quarter, and I don't blame a single one of them. I don't blame a single one of them because Mr. October, Sean Payton, NFL's most successful coach of all time in the month of October, 75% win percentage, is 3-0 in the month, despite the fact that his team has not scored a single point in the second or third quarter in 3 games. I don't know how that happens, but the fact remains is that they're a 5-2 football team, and they're 3-0 this month. So going into this week, Dante, the Dallas Cowboys come rolling in fresh off a 44-point performance last week, and in a season where Zach told you they are averaging 390 yards a game and have put up 37 or more points in 4 of their 7 games so far. They blasted the Commanders 44-22. And as we turn the page on that historic victory over the Giants and look towards the Cowboys, this is not last year where I sat with John Davis on the Fan Football pregame show all season long from week 1 going forward, and I told you that the Broncos were going to go unbeaten against the NFC South. And they wiped the floor with the NFC South last year and won all of those games. NFC East is a little bit of a different story. And they've beaten the Eagles in Philly, and they've beaten the Giants with a historic comeback. It was a pretty impressive comeback against the Eagles as well. But there's 2 left to go. And it's those 2 teams that played Sunday in Dallas, the Cowboys and the Commanders, and Dallas doubled them up 44-22. The difference in those division opponents this year is real quarterbacks actually play and somewhat organized operations from the coaching staff on down in a few of those places, like Philly, who they've already beaten, Dallas, and Washington still to come on the schedule. And with the Cowboys' electric offense coming in here, Dante, I want to know where you're leaning on this game, because I think the point total is only like 51.5 or something in this game. And the Cowboys have already put up 37 or more in 4 different games. They were only held under 20 once in their 7 games thus far. Where do you stand on this matchup simply on what you expected the Broncos and the Cowboys to be and what you've seen so far?
Well, first, 51.5 is still fairly high over-under, so I think they're still expecting some points there, and I think that probably leans towards the Broncos' defense being, tops in the league. But before the year, I didn't have high expectations for the Cowboys. Kind of felt like they were punting on the year. They traded away Micah Parsons. They have a rookie or a first-time head coach, in Schottenheimer there, so it didn't feel like they were going to be competing for the playoffs or anything like that. They've definitely impressed me more than I was expecting going into it. The Broncos are kind of right where I had them, 5-2 at this point. In contention to win the AFC West, definitely should be a playoff team. So I think the Broncos are much closer to what I was expecting. Cowboys a little bit better than I was expecting, but for the Broncos to win this game, they can't have 3 quarters of shutout football on their offense. They can't. They have to score. I'm saying they have to put up probably 27 points to win this game, which, they showed that they could score quickly in that fourth quarter, but we haven't really seen a game where they've been able to put 4 quarters of football together, especially on the offensive side of the football, because even some of the better games, the Colts game, they kind of went dry a little bit in that second half. Same with the Chargers game. Didn't have a whole bunch of scoring in that fourth quarter for them. So, their offense needs to pick it up. I think it's a very winnable game for them. I expect them, home game last weekend, home game this weekend. You're in Denver the whole time, back to that normal practice schedule, back to normal game schedule. That should help them a lot, not look as exhausted as that defense did at, times throughout the Giants game there. So their offense has to put it into gear. I expect them to be better, but I think this game's going to come down to, a 3-4 point game. I don't think it's going to be a runaway by either side.
I think the winner's going to have at least 30 points to win this game. And when you look at 33 scored in the fourth quarter, that's not going to happen again. So for the simple fact it never happened before in Broncos history. It's not going to happen again on back-to-back weeks. You're probably not going to see it again in your lifetime, at least if you're middle-aged or older. Who knows the way they skew the rules to the offense. Maybe you'll see a 40-point quarter. But this is a fascinating matchup for me because the Broncos went from Monday Night Football to Philadelphia to London to back home, and it was a really bad schedule spot for them last week against the Giants. I expected a little bit of a letdown, but I still picked them to win the game for the simple fact of the lift they would get from the Demaryius Thomas Ring of Honor celebration, the Super Bowl 50 team being there, and Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo being on the road still very early in their rookie seasons. So I figured they would have enough in the tank. When they were going into the second half and in the fourth quarter, I didn't think they were going to. I thought that game was a wash, like all the people I mentioned that left at the end of the third quarter. So kudos to the Broncos fighting through miraculous comeback. And now I think they have had enough time to maybe get their legs back under them from that schedule stretch. And they're going to need it. Because I think 30 points is going to be required to win this game. And what's fascinating to me is the offense has the opportunity to build off of that fourth quarter and maybe change up some of the things they do earlier in the game and show that they are a little more consistent and can move the football, because the Cowboys' defense is dreadful. It's absolutely terrible. So the offense has a chance to make some noise, but it's also a huge, huge litmus test for this Broncos defense that could prove to be all-time great with the way they pressure the quarterback. Right now, they are on pace to have 10.5 more sacks than the 85 Bears did, setting the all-time record with 72. The Broncos are on pace for 82.5 if they continue at the rate they are pressuring and sacking the quarterback. But they haven't faced an offense like this. And Dak Prescott comes in as the number 1 QBR-rated quarterback in the National Football League. They've already lost to number 2 in Daniel Jones. And the best 2 quarterbacks they played this year, they lost to Daniel Jones and they lost to Justin Herbert. And I'm talking about this year, the way they're playing. And they were down big in the fourth quarter to Jalen Hurts before Hurts fell apart in the second half with them going into zone blitzes. So they've been behind. Even though there were 2 last-second field goals that beat them in their 2 losses, it was to 2 capable quarterbacks that the defense had trouble slowing down. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Jonathan Taylor, who went absolutely bananas in that game against the Colts, is the only guy running the ball more effectively than Javonte Williams is for the Cowboys right now in the NFL. So the defense has a very big test to come out and prove that they are who we think they are. And the offense has an opportunity to show that they are who we think they can be. But I think they're going to have to put up 30 points because this defense can only take so much. They can only take so many 3-and-outs. They can only take carrying the team for so long. And you saw the pressure they got put under when, a couple of lucky plays, a couple of bounces here and there go the Giants' way, and it ends up with points on the board last week. Big opportunity on both sides of the ball for the Broncos this week. And a big opportunity in this town. Will Peterson was in with Zach Bye on the drive today, and he wrote something on DenverSports.com that I want to dive a little bit deeper into, and we will do that next.
Is Sean Payton ignoring one of his best weapons on offense?
Your run game is a huge part of why you get down to the 2-yard line and you are throwing the ball in consecutive sequences. It's unhealthy. You're at the 2. Your running back is averaging 6 yards a carry.
Preach.
Do not put an agenda over the team.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Join Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan and Athletic at Mile High Station on Sunday, October 26th from noon to 2:25 p.m. for the Fan Football pregame show. Get your head in the game and enjoy orange and blue face painting and ice-cold Athletic. Athletic, all in, all game.
Hey, it's winning season in Colorado, and now your home can score big, too. Gravina's Window Center of Littleton is giving 25% off Infinity by Marvin windows. That's a bigger win than competition's small plays. With 0 down, no interest financing, and windows built to last decades, not seasons, you'll be set for the long game. Call 303-794-0490 or visit windowsforyourhome.com. Gravina's Window Center of Littleton, your home team for windows that last.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Brandon Stokely here from my team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Are you ready for winter? Worries you might need a new furnace? Don't know where to begin? Rocks Heating and Air makes it incredibly easy with their new, free, no obligation online heating and cooling quote. It takes less than 5 minutes and gives you options instantly. No calls, no waiting, and transparent pricing. Only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Attention Denver and Colorado Springs. This is a can't-miss real estate buying opportunity Saturday, October 25th. 35, 50, and 105-acre ranches starting at just $59.9. The ranches have big mountain views and utilities like electricity, high-speed internet, and county-maintained road frontage. All just minutes from Colorado Springs. 35 acres, just $59.9. 50 acres, just $89.9. 105 acres, just $149.9. This is your chance to buy a huge piece of land in the booming Colorado Springs market. This is not an auction. The prices are set and the ranches are priced to sell in a single day, Saturday, October 25th. Call our friendly staff for more information or to book your appointment. Call 866-CO-RANCH. That's 866-CO-RANCH. 866 877-267-2624.
Are you one of those people who dread going to the dentist? If so, have you tried sedation dentistry? Learn more about sedation dentistry at coloradosedation.com. Sit back, relax, and dream with the most experienced sedation dentist and staff at Clarkson Dental.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity, and the other day I'm over at a friend's place. He's pumped to watch football, but his setup, total mess. Lagging, buffering, switching between apps, trying to find a game. He claimed to be a big fan, but I feel like I was being fan-fished. See, if you call yourself a football fan, you gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. And the way I watch, well, it's next level. It's the perfect fan flex. I've got all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K, so clear it feels like I'm in the stadium. Sometimes I've got 4 games going on at once. Why? Because why not? On top of that, I get real-time notifications, live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every single time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K cable TV box.
It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
Denver Sports Tonight, rolling to the top of the hour. Chad Andrus and Dante Gomez in tonight. And Dante, you wanted to follow up on something we were hitting on this Broncos-Cowboys matchup.
Yes, right at the tail end of what you were talking about, how this is, a great litmus test for this defense. If they don't show up, in a big way and don't kind of look like the defense that we've seen to this point of the season, let's say they do give up 30-plus points. Does that mean you're, out on the Broncos defense, or you're just out on them being, a historically great defense?
I don't know if I'm going to have a definitive answer either way, because they're sacking the quarterback at such a rate that it gives them a chance if this offense ever gets turned around and becomes just decent, then it changes the entire dynamic of how much they're on the field and what they're capable of doing and if they're playing with a lead. So I don't know that one game, when we're not even to the halfway point yet, is going to shape my final opinion and write the book on this defense yet or not. They're still on pace for 82.5 sacks. They get another 4 or 5 on a guy that doesn't get sacked in Dak Prescott, then it's probably not going to change, even if they give up points, because they still are elite at the most important thing a defense can do other than turn people over. So I'm not sure that any result other than, giving up 70 like they did to the Dolphins is going to change my mind too much on the defense at this point in the season as we're approaching the halfway point. But I want to get into this with you before we address and relate back to the article Will Peterson wrote on DenverSports.com this week. Just off the top of your head, Dante, I want your reaction to this and why I think the Broncos are in a pretty good position, even if you don't think they're passing the eye test right now. Do we already know the playoff teams in the AFC?
In the AFC?
I think we do.
Well, the Chiefs aren't even in the playoff. I correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure they're the 8th seed right now, so they're definitely going to take someone's spot.
I think we know who's going to be in the playoffs in the AFC.
Hold on, let me pull up my standings here. No, I still have 8 teams. I have 9 teams that could make it, actually.
Okay. You tell me who beyond the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bills, the Patriots, the Colts, the Jags, and the Steelers. You tell me who your other teams are.
Well, I think you just named 8, if I'm correct. I also have Cincinnati in there. I think if they can be
7.
What was that?
Or 8 because I don't have the Broncos on my list.
Okay, so I think you named 8 anyway, and then I'll add the Chiefs, not the Chiefs, the Bengals to make it 9. So I think there's
the Bengals are 3-4 and playing with Joe Flacco.
Yeah, they looked great the other night
on a Thursday night game.
I know it's only a Thursday night game, but no, I think Flacco can keep him around 500, and then let's say Burrow comes back with a month left. I'm not ruling out Burrow going 4-0 to finish the year and make the playoffs.
There's a possibility they swap out one other team. But when you look at the other ones on the list, is it going to be Jacksonville?
I'm not a huge believer in Jacksonville, but they also play in a terrible a terrible division. So.
All right, but you look at the rest, none of them seem all too vulnerable unless you're talking about the Broncos, the Chargers, or the Patriots falling off a cliff. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sold on the Chargers either. They have a lot of injuries. Those are going to add up at some point. At some point, we're not even at some point. I think we've already seen it. I think they've lost 2 in a row now, or maybe are they 3? They lost 3 in a row because I think they were 4-0.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think they lost 3 in a row now. The running back is out for the year with his torn Achilles. Slater's out for the year with his torn ACL. I want to say something with his knee. So I think eventually these things come back to bite you. So I'm not even sold on the Chargers being a solidified playoff team at this point.
I'm not arguing with the viability of the teams that maybe are struggling right now, but what I am going to point out is I just don't have a ton of confidence in anybody that could be chasing, like Cincinnati or Houston at 2-4 or whoever you think could turn it around and get going. I bring that up because one of the things we were talking about with Zach and Will there in that final segment of the drive is we get so wrapped up in the layers of the Broncos, and we oftentimes lose perspective on the rest of the league and what everybody is doing and how they look in relation to them. And yes, the Broncos are not passing the eye test right now, and they still managed to be 5-2. So if they do improve things like the offense early on in the game, if they do run the football more, if they do cut down on penalties, if they do continue to sack the quarterback, there is still a lot of room for improvement on a team that's already winning. And I bring it up because Will wrote a piece on DenverSports.com on Tuesday titled, "Denver should be thinking about multiple championship parades in 2026. And we're now, 5, maybe even arguably in year 6 of the casual conversation of the dual Nuggets-Avalanche parade possibility, even though it hasn't really become remotely close yet. We know the teams are talented enough to contend, but they haven't gone to conference finals or finals at the same time to make it a legit possibility."
Well, that would require both those teams going to conference finals multiple times.
Understood, but they are both regarded as contenders.
No, I know. I was more making a joke there. I think both are great.
In the Avalanche, off of the 2022 Stanley Cup, are off to a 5-2 start. The Nuggets, I will tell you right now, are only like the 3rd or the 4th favorite in terms of odds to win the NBA championship. If this team is healthy in the playoffs, there's not anybody that's going to beat them. And I'm going to tell you that right now. Little sneak preview of what we're going to talk about in the next segment. And the Broncos are 5-2. And this is the first time, Dante, I've been here since 2001. And I know you're a youngin', and you're relatively still new to Denver. But this is the first time since the 2005-2006 season that we have been in October going into November, and we could feel really good about the Broncos, the Nuggets, and the Avalanche all at the same time. That's 20 years. Because when the Broncos were decent, it was pre-Jokic or McKinnon. And when those guys arrived and were on the come-up and establishing themselves and becoming elite talents and all-time players in their respective leagues, the Broncos were a disaster. And then the Avalanche had just an absolutely abysmal run at one point, a 48-point season. The Nuggets, when the Broncos won Super Bowl 50 and went 12-4 in the regular season, were 30-52, despite the Avalanche being a decent team. In 2012 and 2013, the Broncos were 13-3. The Nuggets, a franchise record 57 wins, but the Avalanche finished 5th in their division. In 2009-2010, the Avalanche went to the Western Conference Finals. The Nuggets had 53 wins and won their division, but the Broncos went 8-8. So we are going all the way back to the 2005-2006 season when the Broncos went 13-3, hosted the AFC Championship game, and lost to the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. The Nuggets won the Northwest Division at 49-33. And the Avalanche finished second in their division and had 95 points. It's been 20 years since we've had these three teams all be this competitive at the same time. And to Will's point, as the possibility of 3 parades in the next 8 months, I'll tell you which one we're going to get next.
The Fan Flyaway is back, presented by 303 Law 4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. To kick off 2026, Denver Sports 1043 The Fan is sending you to Phoenix for the biggest party in golf. Airfare, hotel tickets, and $500 in spending money, all included. Head to thefanflyaway.com to register. That's thefanflyaway.com. Denver Sports 1043 The Fan.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Wow, Leslie, your fireplace really sucks.
I beg your pardon?
Well, what I mean is your fireplace is literally sucking all the air out of your house and right up the chimney every time you burn it.
Well, what can I do about it?
Well, you could get a high-efficiency gas insert from Cozy Heat. It keeps all the air you already pay the utility company to heat, and it returns up to 80% of the fire's heat back into your house.
I'd use my fireplace every chance I get if I could do that. Maybe my furnace wouldn't need to run so much.
Well, that's the whole point. Hi, this is Keith Lair with Lair Fireplace and Patio, along with my niece Leslie, to tell you how a gas insert from Cozy Heat will give you the incentive to use your fireplace again. Cozy Heat gas fireplaces and inserts are made to crank out the heat with beauty and style.
Lair's is Denver's oldest, most trusted name in fireplaces. Family owned and operated since 1954.
We'll even give you a free in-home quote, including expert installation by our own certified in-house installers.
Find us on the web at lairfireplacepatio.com.
For top quality Cozy Heat fireplaces and inserts, it's Lair Fireplace and Patio, Denver's fireplace experts.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Dan Jacobs with Jacobs Law on 303 Law 4040. Just got a great result for a client. Sam had another attorney who couldn't get her more than $20,000, so we took over the case and just settled it for $85,000. Another client, Travis, is like a lot of people. He likes doing business with a handshake in his word, not looking to sue anyone, but when the insurance company was playing hardball and refusing to even pay his medical bills, he called 303 Law 4040 and said, Dan, I hate to bug you, but they just aren't being fair. We took over the case, told the insurance company we would see them at trial, and they immediately more than quadrupled their offer, which was just fine in Travis's book. The insurance companies don't play fair. They aren't going to do the right thing out of the goodness of their hearts, so you don't ever have to feel guilty when calling 303 Law 4040. If you've been injured, we'll make them pay what's fair. And as always, you always talk directly with me or my lovely wife, Kimberly. So save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. That's That's 303-LAW-4040.
Do you want the lowest rate for life? Get our 4.75 5-year fixed. APR is 5.89.
Did you say 4.75% fixed for 5 years?
Yes.
Yeah, I want that, but what if rates fall?
Our lowest rate for life program takes over. If rates fall even as little as 0.5%, we can redo your loan with no lender fees and no appraisal fee and no limits to the number of times used. Only at U.S. Mortgages. Call 303-LOW-RATE or online at usmloan.com.
All loans subject to approval and change. See website for complete details. License number 392126.
How good does it feel to let go of 82 pounds in just 16 weeks? And I feel free. Soda Weight Loss is the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and results.
In 16 weeks, I lost 82 pounds because I had learned how to eat smarter. And that's what Soda does. They don't just help you lose weight fast, they help you keep it off.
Join Soda Weight Loss now, and your partner joins for free. Visit sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Joel Klatt, the nation's leading voice in college football, joins Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth every Wednesday morning. Presented by Groove Toyota. Here we go. Tune in at 8:10 for exclusive insight, bold analysis, and maybe just a hint of shenanigans. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
Oh, I get it, Dante. Superstitious. We'll make sure we do all our superstition rituals when we're talking about potential parades in a window for now 3 teams here in our fine city of Denver. First time in 20 years we've had this much optimism for the Broncos, Avalanche, and Nuggets all at the same time. Before I reveal, Dante, which parade we are going to celebrate, do you have any thoughts on 3 franchises being contenders in their respective leagues here? And do you believe that all 3 are legit title contenders?
Yes, absolutely. All 3 are legit title contenders. I think 2 more so than the other one. But, I mean, it's incredibly rare that you get this in any city. And that includes, unless you're taking out like L.A. and Boston. Every other city, I don't think I can imagine or not imagine. I don't think I can think of a time in any of those other cities where this amount of parades is possible. I thought maybe Wisconsin this year, if you had the Brewers and the Packers and the Bucks, who Bucks aren't as good, but Brewers and Packers really. Other than that, there's no other cities in America that are vying for multiple championships at the moment.
And you see how hard it is to do. It's been 20 years since all 3 of these have been good at the same time. And despite the rumblings and the fun conversations about a Nuggets-Avalanche dual parade possibility for the last 5 years or so, it hasn't really come remotely close to happening. Do you have a pick? Will there be any parades? And if there are, which team or teams would it be?
I'm calling my shot. I think we're getting 2. I think we're getting
2.
I think we're getting the Avs and the Nuggets.
2 parades, says Dante Gomez.
I think both teams are going to be the best in their sport. Obviously, come playoff time, you got to be hot, you got to get some bounces, but I think both are going to be the odds-on favorites going into the playoffs.
Dante, that's a ridiculous take, and I 100% agree with it.
Thank you. I was going to say, didn't you just do 10 minutes on why that's possible? But
well, that is what Will wrote, and I was commenting on the viability of it related to the last 2 decades in this town. I think you're right. And the Avalanche, to me, is the very, very difficult one because as good as they are, as talented as they are, they have had some serious bugaboos in the playoffs. And the other element to this, and hockey guy, don't get mad at me, but there is a point in time every single year during the Stanley Cup playoffs where I'm watching any number of series go on, not just the Avalanche play, any number of series in both conferences, and I just throw up my arms and go, this is like 85% luck. The bounces that happen, the penalties that are called, the overtime, like the Stanley Cup is so stinking hard to win because of the randomness that happens in the playoffs. And yes, healthy teams that are consistently the deepest and the best and generate the most opportunities for themselves, have a better chance to come out on top. It still doesn't happen every game in every series. You cannot honestly say the best team won every series in an NHL 7-game series in the playoffs every year. It doesn't happen the way it typically does in basketball and most times in baseball. It's not the same. That said, they have 2 of the 3 best players in hockey. I think they're overdue and have underperformed in relation to their talent and have as good a chance of anybody to win the Stanley Cup again. That is a strong possibility. The Broncos right now have a whole lot of room for improvement, and that is the good news because they're 5-2, and they could be a lot better than they are. They could be a whole lot better than they are, particularly on offense, particularly with penalties, and on special teams. And they've survived a couple of tough spots in their schedule already, and depending on how they show up against Kansas City in particular, may dictate how likely it is that they have a real shot at a parade, but right now I don't think they're there yet. I don't think they have the offense. I don't think they have the quarterback play. The Denver Nuggets, Dante, if they are healthy going into the postseason, I don't think it's going to be competitive for the rest of the NBA. It might be 16-4 again or better. I'm watching the Knicks and the Cavs right now. Those are going to be, if healthy, the best 2 teams that the Eastern Conference has to offer. And when I look at the West, I watched the Warriors last night. I watched the Thunder. I watched the Rockets. I ain't scared.
Shouldn't be.
None of them have Jokic. Period. None of them have Jokic. And now he has help. And I think this team is undervalued in terms of 54.5 wins. I think they will get it together sooner than people think. I think the depth will help out, and they can win more than 55 games. They can put themselves in position for a top 2 seed, and no one is going to want to play this team. Not the Clippers, not the Rockets, not the Thunder, and deal with Jokic. They had 3.5 healthy bodies in the playoffs last year and took the Thunder to 7 games. If this team is healthy, the Denver Nuggets are winning another championship. And if the Avalanche do it at the same time, boy, I tell you, man, dual parade.
They shouldn't share a parade, though.
They should. They absolutely should.
No, they should get their own.
No. They should absolutely do it for the simple fact that they share ownership and no one else will ever be able to do it again. It'll be a one-off, one and only, and you'll have 1.5 million people down there. They should absolutely do it.
You don't want 2 parade days?
No. I got to take off work to attend that stuff.
I guess that's fair.
That's PTO.
I guess that's fair.
Hey, did you catch the debut last night on the NBA on NBC?
I did. I wasn't listening too much. I kind of had it on when I was doing work.
A lot of nostalgia for that coming back. I will say this. Dan Jacobs now has me completely focused on Noah Eagle's hair every time he's on TV. And it's very distracting.
I've not heard about this. What is...
pay attention to Noah Eagle's hair next time you see him on a game.
Okay, that's all I need to know?
Yes,
No other context?
For Big Ten football on Saturday night or the NBA. Oh, yeah, he's got Lego hair. And he's 26 years old. It's a thing, man. But he was doing like radio play-by-play on TV last night, and it was driving me insane. It was a big drop-off from Tirico in Game 1 to him in Game 2. Good to have the NBA back on NBC. Nuggets will be on ESPN tomorrow night for a late game when they open the season against the Warriors and start another championship campaign. Cam Johnson, I'm telling you, if you don't know, if you're a casual basketball fan and you don't know the difference it's going to make with this guy playing instead of Michael Porter Jr., whoo, baby, I'm pumped. Dante says 2 parades. I want them combined into one. Avalanche are off to a great start. Nuggets get it kicked off tomorrow, and I can't wait. I'm so excited about this season for your Denver Nuggets. And I'm excited for John Davis and I to be back on your fan football pregame Sunday from Mile High Station. It's going to be a good one against the Cowboys.
Christian Brown is here to stay. The Nuggets lock down their rising star with a 5-year extension worth $125 million. With CB cemented into the starting lineup, is it officially championship or bust in Denver this season? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
You could save thousands of dollars on the products your business uses the most with the Home Depot's new Pro Extra Preferred Pricing. Registering is free and easy. Just have your tax ID or business or contractor's license ready. But don't wait. The current preferred pricing benefit will end on November 15th. Visit your local Pro Desk to register now and unlock the deepest savings on the products you choose.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Chernak from Denver Regenerative Medicine. When it comes to healing, there's no one-size-fits-all. Every patient receives a unique treatment plan designed just for them. We use either your own stem cells or carefully selected donor cells to treat degenerative joints, torn muscles and ligaments, and even back injuries. Our goal is lasting healing without unnecessary surgery. And right now, we're offering 10% off treatments through October. Schedule your free consultation today at DenverRegen.com. That's DenverRegen.com.
Hey guys, boy Steve here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. You want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're over 50, it's likely you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens, the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Don't miss Colorado football's 2 remaining home games of the 2025 season. Celebrate homecoming with the Buffaloes as CU faces the Arizona Wildcats on Saturday, November 1st. Then lock in your seats for Senior Day against the reigning Big 12 champs, Arizona State, on November 22nd. Great seats are still available at beautiful Folsom Field. Visit cubus.com/tickets or call 303-492-8282 and be there as Ralphie 7 leads the charge for your Colorado Buffaloes.
Looking to sell your used Rolex watch? We buy and sell pre-owned Rolex watches. All styles, from old to new. Hi, I'm Scott Matthew with Matthew's Fine Watches and Jewelry. Bring in your Rolex watch and we will buy it on the spot. No shipping your watch off to the internet site and waiting to get a check. Bring your used Rolex into Matthews. We have been servicing Colorado since 1951. Located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center. Matthews, we buy, sell, and service Rolex watches.
Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry. Located in the Highlands Ranch Town Center or online at MatthewsFineWatches.com.
The Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth podcast is brought to you by Xfinity. Introducing the 5-year price guarantee. One consistent internet price for the next 5 years guaranteed. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You are listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Opening week of the NBA rolls on ESPN. The Cavaliers down 15 at the half have closed the gap with the Knicks. Cleveland now down 85-83 third quarter. Donovan Mitchell has 26 for the Cavs. Heat up 89-9. Heat trailed the Magic 90-89 in the third quarter. Franz Wagner with 22 for Orlando. Hornets leading the Nets 98-80 in the third. Also in the third quarter, Joel Embiid has 4 points. Sixers up 57-54 on the Celtics. Raptors leading the Hawks at the half 65-59. In the second quarter, Bulls up 44-28 on the Pistons. John Morant's got 10 points. He and the Grizzlies trail the Pelicans 44-41 in the second. Also the second quarter from Milwaukee, where Giannis and the Bucks lead the Wizards 58-42. Coming up at the bottom of the hour on ESPN, Spurs Mavericks and the NBA debut of the top overall pick in this year's draft, Dallas's Cooper Flagg, as well as the return of San Antonio young star Victor Wembanyama from deep vein thrombosis. Wemby does need to take a leap this year, says ESPN NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike.
He is someone that can be a defensive player of the year. He is someone that can be an MVP. He averaged 24 and 11 last year. He only played around 45, 46 games, obviously before going out with that health scare. This is the year of Victor Wembanyama. I know we always talk about who's the face of the NBA, who's the future face of the NBA. The reality is Victor can do that. He can own that. He can have that lane with his talents on both ends of the floor.
NHL, Devils leading the Wild 2-0 early third period.